to Thriving Relationships with Jessica Hartley. We are live here at the KHTS studio in beautiful downtown Santa Clarita. And we are here today to talk about the 5 biggest relationship struggles that women face in relationships. So, one of the first things that I would like to just dive right into is how men and women face different types of struggles. And one of the things that I find to be a constant is that when women are facing struggles in relationship, they are they're doing the best that they know. They're doing whatever that they can to try to solve the problem. And a lot of times it comes with the way that we solve the problem comes from our childhood or comes from how we've seen our parents solve their relationship problems and how we've seen um, how we've been conditioned in other ways as well. So this all comes into play. And the reason why this is so important for me to talk about and to really bring to light is because we are facing epidemics now. We have such a high divorce rate, and even beyond that rate, we have couples that are staying in relationships, just settling for the unhappiness because they don't want to go through divorce. Because, there are a lot of things that come with the cost of divorce. Not only just the monetary stress, but also, parenting separately, having your spouse bring in another partner into their relationship, and now you have to deal with how they want to parent and will they parent your children. There's so many things that are sort of unforeseen, and these things are causing people to stay even though they're unhappy. So I'm here to bring to light, to just have a real conversation about what these struggles are and why we're having these struggles. So these are the biggest struggles that women are facing. So what can we do about it? How can we change the tide? How can we change the game and start to do something different? Not only for ourselves and the well-being of our relationship and our lives, but also for the examples that we set for our children. Our children are always watching us, and they are learning from our model. They're not learning so much from what we tell them. We think that they pay attention to the words that we say, but more than that, they're always paying attention to what we do. And when they see their parents constantly in conflict, it affects them deeply. It affects how successful that they'll be in a relationship later on. So to start off, I'm just going to go ahead and name all of them, and then we'll go ahead and dive into each one. So the very first one is that they can't communicate effectively. So communication is something that comes up over and over again in a relationship. And there's 2 different aspects of communication. So the very first one is really about being able to resolve conflicts respectfully. So when a conflict comes up, how can they resolve that respectfully? And this is something that they struggle with. They don't know the path on how to resolve that conflict. And so they end up getting into arguments, and they end up, over time feeling like they are walking on eggshells around their partner's feelings. We don't want to disturb my spouse, so I'm just going to sort of tiptoe around what I say, so that way I don't bring up their walls and their defenses and the criticisms and etc. So this is one feeling that is so common. And the other piece of it is the communication when there's something meaningful that is important to the woman and she wants to communicate about it. She wants to say, like, hey, how about this idea? Or this is important to me, or I find this to be a new way that we need to go. And the common problem is inability to get on the same page with her partner. So inability to communicate that meaningful thing on the same page. So, that turns into feeling misunderstood. That's a very big feeling that women feel when they can't communicate effectively. And that she doesn't have her partner on her side. So then this is where it comes in, where you feel that your partner is no longer your teammate. And when they get their walls go up, they are now not only just not your teammate, but now they're in opposition of you. And this is your partner, your spouse. And so it's so defeating for women to face these things in their relationships. And when they feel like, oh, my partner, this person that I deeply love, is now not only I can't get them on my side, like we can't find a way to communicate effectively, even if it's finding a solution together. But now they're on the opposite side. Now they're in opposition to me. And I have an inability to influence my partner in the way that I feel is important for our family to go right now. Oftentimes, what comes into play in these areas of communication are all about parenting and being able to get on the same page with how we're parenting our child. So that's really big for women, is to be on that same page in parenting, because otherwise then we have two different fronts, and the child will learn to manipulate the parents to get whatever the child wants out of the other. So that's the first one, cannot communicate effectively. Secondly, this is also so big, is the feeling of being taken for granted. This is something that's so common. So many women have the feeling that they do 70% or more of the giving and sharing of their love, of their time, of their efforts, of their empathy, of their support. And the partner gives at most 30% back. So it feels very uneven for them. I have a quiz on my website. You can go there if you want to take it. It's www.jessicahartley.com. And one of those questions is about the equality in what they're giving into the relationship. Where does that lie? And so many women rate their relationship as a 70-30 split, being that they're doing 70% of the giving into the relationship and only getting 30% back. So this is very interesting, because once again, we're looking at how a woman is unable to tap into her ability to influence the relationship, to say, hey, I could use your help here, or hey, this is what I would like here, without having the spouse have their defenses go up and their walls go up. And then it's instead of it being a request, now it's a battle. So this is often what women face in relationship. So then they feel undervalued, and they feel like, the women tell me all the time, I hear this so much, I am tired of being the only one who is trying to fix our relationship. And this is so common. Women get burnt out. Not only, one thing that women do is we're really great at multitasking, but that ability, that strength of ours is also our weakness, because sometimes we just take on so much and we exhaust ourselves. But when it comes to the relationship, women often feel like they're always the one that's being the bigger person, always the one that's working at trying to fix the relationship. And they get just tired of it. They get burnt out. And at some point, if that doesn't change, it leads to more and more disconnection. And that disconnection grows farther and farther to where you're now just roommates instead of partners, friends, lovers. Now you're just roommates. And then a roommate that you might not even enjoy spending much time with. And then resentments build, and divorce or settling for the unhappiness. And this is a big thing. So, women ask me, how do I ensure that I don't get taken for granted? How do I make it so that my partner values, respects, and honors me and my contribution in the relationship? And this is very important. They feel unsupported, and they also feel a lack of commitment because of that feeling of being taken for granted. That their partner, because there's a disconnection, because there's whatever there is in the relationship, that their partner no longer is totally 100% loyal to them. Which brings me right into the next biggest relationship struggle, is that they feel sexually unvalued. So this comes in the area of distrust, not feeling like they are honored sexually by their partner, when there's cases of infidelity, and also in the area of feeling like they're not wanted, or that there's a lack of passion or desire in the relationship. And they feel like, hey, you once were attracted to me. What happened? And how did that change? Just because we got real, we got into a long-term relationship, and now that's different. Now that's changed, and so this is a very big struggle that women face in a relationship. And then the next is not getting her needs met. So again, this is where they feel exhausted, overwhelmed, overextended. A lot of women say to me that they have to do everything. Why do I have to do everything? And this is where, women are just constantly trying to ask their partner to do something. And we just recently got into a conversation recently about how there's this dynamic now being in our society and in the relationship cultures where, so many years ago it was expected that the woman would cook, she would clean, she would take care of the kids, she would do all of those things at the home. And now there's a new expectation. That expectation is that she would take care of the kids while husband was at work, and she would take care of the house while he was at work, and then husband would work while he's at work. And now, with the rest of the time, it should be split. They expect now to have that split time, assistance, help with the chores, help with the kids, giving her time off to do things for herself. This is incredible. How many women tell me that they don't have time to do anything for themselves, that they have no independence, no sense of self-honor or self-nurturing in their relationships, because everything is always about either the kids or the spouse. And so once again, she's giving and giving and giving, and all of a sudden, over time, her cup is empty and she has nothing left to give. And the interesting thing is that when that happens, when she has nothing left to give, when she's running on empty, two things happen. She becomes desperate, needy, demanding for something in return to fill her cup. And that backfires on her, because then it shows to her spouse that, she's acting outside of herself, acting crazy. She's, all these different things that she will hear from her spouse. And then the second thing is that she no longer can function. And so she ends up, getting just so depleted that she doesn't have any energy left to do the normal stuff that she does. So then that also backfires on her. So then the next one is the last one, the fifth one. The fifth biggest struggle is that she feels disrespected. So this happens verbally, emotionally, where her spouse either verbally or emotionally abuses her, through criticism, through being made to feel like the crazy one, something that I hear a lot, and also through sarcasm. Men think, and maybe it comes from the masculine world, that sarcasm is sort of this way to joke around or to play or to tease. And for women, generally speaking, that sarcasm is the same as criticism. And so it is not received very well. And so the sarcasm and the criticism and just the disrespect in the way that they talk down to their spouse, so women feel that their spouses are talking down to them. And these are the things that women face the most in relationship and the struggles that they face the most. But I want to put a light at the end of that tunnel and just to say that, hey, all of these things are in our power, in our ability to change. And not by needing our partner to meet us halfway. We don't need our partner to do certain things. It's about us. It's about, in my world, as the woman in this relationship, me stepping into the fullness of who I am, what my strengths are, where my worth is, and claiming it. And that's what we'll start to talk about a little bit more on the other side of this break coming up. So this is Thriving Relationships. You're listening to Jessica Hartley, and we'll be right back.
Women have a natural power to nurture and heal our relationships, but our strength is not in demanding, begging, settling, or running away. We're more grounded than that. No matter how depleted you feel, you can save this relationship and fuel the warmth of a solid, lasting marriage. When you step into your radiance, you'll naturally influence loyalty, trust, connection, and passion from your partner. The Legendary Love Program has been healing relationships from the brink of divorce all over Santa Clarita. Check it out at jessicahartley.com/program. Love is worth it.
Life's not meant to feel complacent. It's meant to make you feel alive. The youth ministry at the Church on the Way Santa Clarita believes that students can belong to the group where we will help them believe they have a purpose in Christ and become all that He has created them to be. We want to see God's power come alive in our generation. We love meeting new people, so come hang out with us. Doors open at 6 p.m. and service starts at 7 every Wednesday night. For more information about the Church on the Way Santa Clarita, including service times and what's happening through the end of the year, visit tcotwsc.org.
Pure Birth's Pregnancy and Wellness is Santa Clarita's newest birth center, offering holistic prenatal care, water births, labor and delivery, and postpartum care. Owned and operated by California Medical Board licensed midwife Tiffany Gallo, who has been serving expected families in the SCV for over a decade. Pure Births is also a Medi-Cal birth center. If you want to experience a natural birth with the freedom to birth your way in a safe and professional environment, contact Pure Births on Tournament Road near McBean, purebirths.com.
Something big is coming to Castaic.
Is it a dinosaur, Bob?
No, Blanche.
Is it the 2020 Olympics?
No.
I know. We're finally hosting the World Cup.
No, silly. They're building Castaic High.
Bob, no way.
Go visit CastaicHighProject.com. You'll get all the latest details.
What's that web address again, Bob?
CastaicHighProject.com.
Again?
CastaicHighProject.com.
Bigger than a dinosaur?
That's right. CastaicHighProject.com.
Indulge yourself in a world of wine at the 7th Annual Sierra Pelona Valley AVA Wine Festival, Saturday, April 6th from noon to 4 p.m., benefiting the Zonta Club of SCV. Get your Chardonnay on with live music, gourmet food, handmade crafts, and the best local wines, beers, spirits, and ciders Santa Clarita has to offer at Reyes Winery. Dionysus dilettantes and wine connoisseurs alike will enjoy this festival. Sponsored by Reyes Winery, Pepsi, Anheuser-Busch, California Bank and Trust, and Mercedes-Benz of Valencia. Visit reyeswinery.com to purchase tickets. Must be 21 or over.
Hi, Kirk Stinson here with Plumbing by Kirk, your hometown plumber. I want to stress to you how important it is to get proper advice on what to do in case of emergencies. Always know where your shutoff valves are to be able to isolate it and have the problem taken care of on regular hours and avoid expensive plumbing bill.
We invite you to visit our website for free plumbing advice at plumbingbykirk.com or give us a call, 263-6519. That's 263-6519.
My dad is the best plumber ever. Plumbing by Kirk.
It's no secret that heavy-duty cleaning chemicals can be toxic for babies and pets and even adults. EcoGreen Clean SEV can put your worries at ease. EcoGreen Clean SEV only uses organic, environmentally friendly products, reducing the risk of health issues for any age. EcoGreen cleaners use essential oils that lend to aromatherapeutic benefits. Eco cleaners are reliable, thorough, and all cleanings are guaranteed. You even get an organic chocolate on your pillow. Local owned and operated by a single mom who started this organic business 5 years ago. For more information or to book a cleaning, call 993-9136.
Your hometown station.
As soon as I leave my house in Saugus, I always turn on KHTS for the latest traffic updates.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back to Thriving Relationships with Jessica Hartley. We are live here at the KHTS studio in downtown Santa Clarita. And today we've been talking all about the 5 biggest relationship struggles that women face. And they are that she cannot communicate effectively, and that means in the areas of resolving conflicts and also being able to speak about things that are meaningful to her, to be able to get on the same page as her partner or to bring him onto her same page. The second thing is that she feels taken for granted. So that she does way more, that there's a lack of commitment, that she feels unsupported, or that she's always the initiator of growth. Third is that she feels sexually unvalued, so that there's a lack of honor for her in the relationship, a lack of passion or desire, or that there's some distrust around fidelity. And fourth, that she's not getting her needs met, that she's exhausted doing everything or most of the things, and that it's not important enough to him to help her out. And that she feels that her partner is either selfish or inconsiderate, and she's not getting her personal time. Her time that she needs to honor and nurture her. And then fifth is that she feels disrespected. So verbally or emotionally abusive, criticism, sarcasm, or being made to feel like she's the crazy one. So these are the 5 biggest relationship struggles that women are facing. And it's so powerful to really step into a place inside of ourselves where we can take control of this dynamic, where we no longer have to be in the throes or independence of what our partner is doing or not doing, and that we as the woman can really take ownership for each of these areas. Each of these speak to a specific strength that we have naturally within ourselves. And what I was just going to say earlier was that the relationship, the world of relationship is and belongs to the feminine. It is the world of bringing together. It's the world of connection. It's the world of nurturing and empathy and understanding and love and giving. And this is the world of relationship. This is where it lies. And so it's a feminine entity as relationships go. And so as women, we are much more closely strongly attached to that ability to be in dominion, to be able to create the relationship in the way that we want it to go. Men, on the other hand, they're, the masculine world is the business and the work world. And just like if a woman wants to go and be in the work world, she needs to go and learn some of those things, which would be amazing for her. And it would help her to be successful in the work world. And these are not things that come as naturally to her or as easily to her. They come more easily to the masculine. And so for a man to come into a relationship and to be excellent or to be great at relationship, he has to come into this feminine world and start to take on some of these and learn to do that so that he'll be successful in relationship as well. So it's this beautiful yin and yang. But the point that I'm making here is that women are the ones that have so much more access and strength to being able to create the relationship that she wants inside of her relationship. And a lot of times we hear like these 5 biggest relationship struggles, they're the way that they're talked about is as if the woman is in dependence or in need of her partner to do something different or say something different or be something different. And it's so interesting because while that's true, the way to get there is through ourselves and through the way that we react to what they're doing in the relationship. So on the line now, I have a caller, Samantha, and she's going to talk about what her biggest struggle in relationship has been. So Samantha, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yeah.
Samantha. Are you there, Samantha?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Okay, so while we're waiting for her to get on, then I'll go ahead and just start talking a little bit about how these areas are. Is she talking? Okay, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. So it was that I could not hear you. Perfect. Okay, so Samantha, can you tell us a little bit about what your biggest relationship issues have been for you?
Yeah, when you were talking about the communication, I feel like the biggest struggle is how do you communicate yourself authentically when your significant other feels like they don't want to deal with how you feel all the time, and they don't want to deal with the emotions and the big talk and the figuring things out because it can be exhausting. So how do you communicate your feelings without shoving them down and ignoring them, and without feeling like you're walking on eggshells all the time because you don't want to upset your significant other by telling them the things that are bothering you?
Yeah. So you're talking about the biggest struggle that women face in relationship is that, we're just inability to communicate effectively. So are you talking about when you have something meaningful that you want to share, or are you talking about when there's like a conflict and being able to move through it and to resolve it?
Either one, because when you have something meaningful you want to share, a lot of times in our busy lives we're exhausted and nobody wants to take the time to sit down to have those meaningful conversations, right? At the end of the day, they're exhausted. Or if a conflict's coming up or something that's bothering you, how do you say, hey, listen, I want to talk and I want to have this conversation with you and have it not be the end of the world, right? Mm-hmm. But these are things that are coming up for me and I need to be honest and speak my truth.
Right. So, it's so interesting to be able to understand that this communication piece with the partner in our lives is something that we are going to be better at across the board than they are. So it's just not necessarily in the masculine world to be good at communicating, especially about feelings, about things that that we feel. The masculine lives in this sort of cause and effect world, and they live in the world of goals and results and so logic, and so one of the amazing things also that is so interesting about women is that we have this ability to actually access both our left and right brain a lot easier. We have more access to it in a given situation than the masculine does. And that is because we have about 30% more connecting neurons in our brains in that area of our brain that connects the two. So we can touch into our logic and we could touch into our feelings and bridge them together. And I think that is so useful for us to understand about ourselves as women. Because if we neglect it, whatever strengths that we have, if we neglect them, then they just lie dormant. And unless we actually start using them, then they will come in and start being used for our good, for our benefit. So we have this capacity. So one of the things that we need to do is to sort of learn to be able to use that ability in ourselves and speak to the masculine in our world in a way that they can understand. So men don't necessarily tap into the feelings of things. It's kind of foreign for them to understand what we mean when we say, I feel this, or this feels this way. And so we want to be able to, number one, is to tap into explaining it to them in a more of a logical, sort of A plus B equals C kind of explanation. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is to use our power, our strength of empathy. So empathy is, again, one of a woman's greatest assets, greatest strengths. And it could also be her weakness, because if we start going too far with it, we'll neglect ourselves and we'll feel too much sometimes to where we start to go into negative emotional states. But if we use it in the way that is meant to be used as the strength that we have, then we can tap into our power of empathy and use it to communicate to our partner in a way that resonates deeply inside of them. So the other thing to understand about the masculine is that at one time, two things. One time he was raised by a mother, and there's a place inside of him that is wanting to be nurtured by his spouse, wanting that same sort of unconditional love that his mother once gave him. So if we can tap into that and communicate in that way with our power of empathy, then we can hit right to that place where we can avoid all of the walls and all of the defenses that come in and get right to the heart of it. It's like if we could try to, instead of trying to overcome the surface level stuff, we just have a straight pathway right to the heart. And so one of the things that women can do for men is to really help bring them from their heads to their hearts. And this is the other thing that is important to note about men, is that they live highly in this masculine world. And this world is very competitive. It's very logical. It's not a place of feeling. It's not a place of emotion and rest and just allowing to be. It's this world of doing, do, and production. And for them to be able to have a place of refuge in the home, in the way that we as the feminine or the wife can bring them in and nurture them, is essential. So if we can use our words to communicate, to understand that power of empathy is the way. That is the way to be the most influential in our spouse's life. If we want to get on the same page, we cannot go at it from needing, from nagging, from demanding, because these are more of the masculine things that they're faced with every day. We have a different approach, a different power, which is to come in through that empathy, to come in through that nurturing, to come in through that ability to see them for who they really are and to honor them for who they really are and even for who they want to be. So to be able to show them that they can be here in this place. And we do that through our language, and we do that through our feeling, that it's sort of like this, the way that we express a feeling state with them, through our energy as well. So it's like, would you say that you, what has been in the past your approach when you wanted to bring forward something meaningful?
Just like, you mean meaningful, not conflict, right?
Right.
Like when you have something excited to share for the working moms out there, when you have a really great day or something you're excited about with work, you want to tell the person you love most, your best friend, you want to come home and share that information. And a lot of times he's just really busy or really tired, or he's listening and he's engaging with me, but he's just not really there and doesn't seem very excited.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so, one of the things that you're also bringing up there is, so it's like this feeling of not feeling supported. Would you say that that's kind of what you're talking about?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And so one of those things is to be able to not necessarily need his supports, so that's one of the things that, again, is in our power. And it's kind of a paradigm shift to go through, because of course we want to have that companion, that experience of partnership and shared celebration. But on the other side of the coin, if we are, coming from an empty cup, or if we feel like we're being taken for granted, or if we feel like our needs are not getting met, then we're sort of coming at that exchange as, hey, like, this is an opportunity for you to fill my cup, and you're not taking it, and so it gets very defeating in that way. And so we feel unsupported. We feel as if my needs or the things that are important to me are not important to my spouse. And this is the person, like you said, is my best friend in the world. I want them to share in this celebration with me. And so it can feel so defeating and frustrating,
Yeah.
And so the biggest thing that I can offer as a total paradigm shift to that is that, again, to understand our nature as a woman and to really step into and own it. Because our nature as a woman is the one that brings life into the world. We are the creators of we have this creative energy flowing through us. We nurture a child in our womb for 9 months and then bring this being into the world. This is our natural state. And then after this being's in the world, we are nurturing them. We're caring about their physical and emotional well-being. We understand the bigger picture, right? So understanding that one of our greatest strengths is this self-fulfillment. It's this ability to bring forward nurturing and then deliver it into the world, right? So even when a mother breastfeeds, so we bring forward from within our bodies the nurturing that this child needs for 4 to 6 months. It doesn't need it to drink or eat anything else except that. It's pretty incredible. And it's amazing to realize that, when it comes into relationship, then all of a sudden we sort of shift and we have all these expectations where we need our partner to now nurture us or to support us or, other that in those emotional ways. And this is something that is more of our role to sort of give into the relationship. It's our place where we have the opportunity to fill our own cup. And that is the biggest lesson here, is to learn how to fill our own cup. Because if we're looking for things outside of ourselves to fill our cup, then we'll forever be depleted. Because especially in a partnership, it's just not going to come that way. We are the givers, and it's important for us to receive as well, but we almost need to shift where we expect that receiving to come from. And it's as if we need to be more, instead of codependent in our relationships, more independent, and bring forward our own nurturing, bring forward that support that we need. And here's the kicker about this, is that when we do that, and only when we do that, to where we're at the point of like, hey, I had this amazing day and this amazing thing happened and and we don't necessarily need a response from our partner, that's when they give it. It's funny because the energy of having this need actually keeps and pushes the what we want away from us. So having this need or this expectation actually keeps it away from us. And when we are filled from within and we no longer need that thing, then it comes to us. And that's how it works. So it's interesting to be able to really tap into and understand this is how it works. So if we want to have that in our relationship, and of course that would be a thriving relationship, right? That would show that, hey, there's mutual, the woman's not just doing everything. But to sit there and to say, well, I'm doing this much and you're not giving in return, and so therefore I'm going to withhold our physical intimacy, or I'm going to withhold other things. And it's like, these things are ways that we create more and more disconnection, and it doesn't work out for us. And in fact, if we were to just be self-fulfilled and learn to really step into that, and that's where our self-nurturing comes in, and that's where our independence comes in, and that's where our self-fulfillment and our self-honor comes in, and to really stand in that and to honor that and to celebrate it inside of ourselves, then our world reflects that. The world around us will say, oh, look at how abundant you are, look how confident you are, look how self-fulfilled you are, look how nurturing you are, and the world and our spouse will bring more of that onto us, and so we become magnetic. There's this quality that women want, is that they want to feel like they are magnetic, they're radiant, and this magnetic feeling doesn't just pop out of the blue. It comes from being self-fulfilled. It comes from not needing that stuff from our spouse, but from feeling it from within, and then it comes to you. And it's a huge paradigm shift that we have to shift into. So what would you say regarding that, Samantha?
I think that that's perfect. And I realize that what you're saying is just by feeling fulfilled already and being excited and filling my own cup, I'm going to automatically attract that connection and that want, and all of that energy that I'm looking for will already be there just by me removing the needy energy and feeling it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then also not getting upset about when it's not showing up, but using it as an opportunity for growth. Right. Recognizing that that's what's really going on here. So thank you so much, Samantha, for calling in and giving us, sharing with us. We'll have to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back in just a few.
Lots of people can build websites, but there's one Santa Clarita company that specializes in designing websites for your business. Small Dog Creative. The Small Dog Creative team is made up of local designers who are hands-on. Their talented team of experts build premium websites and redefine branding. Small Dog Creative doesn't just build websites. They'll upgrade your business's online presence and turn your business into a powerful online brand. Small Dog Creative, Santa Clarita's most innovative web and design company. SmallDogCreative.com.
Olive Terrace Bar and Grill is the hottest new Mediterranean fusion restaurant in Santa Clarita with unique delicacies like seafood right off the boat, mouth-watering prime steaks, artesian sandwiches, delicious pastas, and tasty kebabs. Unwind on their cozy outdoor patio at their weekend champagne brunch, full menu, and weekly specials at oliveterracebarandgrill.com. Check out their full bar and happy hour daily specials in Valencia on Copper Hill and Newhall Ranch Road by LA Fitness. Olive Terrace Bar and Grill, delicious food seasoned with love.
The truth is, my marriage license didn't come with any training for success, and the constant conflict just pushed us further away. But I'm here as proof. If you've lost intimacy, you can rebuild it. If there's too much pain, you can heal it. You don't have to break up your family when it gets hard. Learn the 6 essential elements to create a successful relationship. The legendary love program has been healing relationships from the brink of divorce all over Santa Clarita. Learn more at jessicahartley.com/program.
Beautiful skincare with safer ingredients is now available in Santa Clarita. This is Dr. Palucki.
And Tony Palucki. I've loved makeup since I was 12, but recently my hormones became a hot mess, and I found out that makeup and fragrance can cause that. So now we welcome you to experience Beauty Counter, a healthy skincare and cosmetic choice delivered directly to your door. Call 753-9340 for more details.
Kyle, guess what's coming up?
It's the KHTS Home and Garden Show at Emergency Expo.
April 27th and 28th at Central Park.
Free admission.
Over one weekend, over 20,000 homeowners, Santa Clarita homeowners, visit this every single year.
It's one of the biggest home shows in not just Southern California, but California.
My favorite is the marketplace.
It's local craft stuff. It's awesome.
A lot of activities for the kids. They've got the petting zoo, pony rides. But if you want to be a part of this, there is always room for your business.
That's true. And this is an opportunity that is like no other. You're going to get, like you just said, about 20,000 people over the weekend to come and check out your business. So there's still vendor opportunities available.
That's the only question I have. If a vendor is listening right now and they say to themselves, that's what I want to be a part of, now what?
You can call 298-1220, 298-1220, or go to scvhomeshow.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome to Thriving Relationships with Jessica Hartley. The following is paid programming and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back to Thriving Relationships with Jessica Hartley. So we've been talking all about the 5 biggest relationship struggles that women face. And to go over them again, they are the inability to communicate effectively, feeling like you're taken for granted or undervalued, not getting your needs met, feeling sexually unvalued, and feeling disrespected. And earlier we had a guest call in, and she explained that some of her experience having a lack of good communication and inability to tap into sharing meaningful things with her partner. And we revealed a few different ways of how women could really change and step into our own strengths, like our empathy, like our nurturing, like our self-fulfillment, in order to really be, take dominion of our relationship instead of being in dependence of needing our spouse to do or be something, that we can lead the way here, that we can take the relationship in the direction that we want to once we learn to capitalize on our natural given strengths and abilities. And it's something that we all have, but if we don't use them, if we don't tap into the strengths that we have, then they'll just be dormant and they won't show up in the relationship when we need them. And so it's very important for us as women to really learn to start stepping into honoring and recognizing and developing these strengths that are inside of ourselves. So most women, go through their relationships and they find themselves in one or all 5 sometimes of these biggest struggles, and they end up just creating more and more disconnection. So when they don't face this, when they leave it to chance, or when they just do what they have always known, then the relationship slowly gets more and more disconnected. Women will become less patient, is something that we see, less patient with their spouse, less patient with their kids, so that she becomes ungrounded, not acting from the place that she truly is. And even she starts having emotional instability, or ungrounded in her emotional reactions. So she might start to yell, or it might, not having control of her emotional reactions. And then the other thing that happens is that she feels like she's on a hamster wheel, just going around in circles. over and over, a pattern that keeps replaying itself over and over again. And the thing is that when we notice this pattern, it is time to start doing something different. It's time to wake up from that pattern and to do something different. And that is to really start to identify where I can take dominion in my relationship, rather than being at the cliche of needing my spouse to meet me halfway. I can take dominion. I can make changes within myself in the way that I react, in the way that I speak, in the way that I approach. Other things that happen when we allow these things to keep going or we ignore them is a lack of trust. So feeling like now we need to control or manipulate our partner into doing or acting or saying certain things, so that we get them to do what we would have them do, rather than eliciting a genuine response that comes naturally, that comes from an open heart. We get them to do what we want, or to be a certain thing, or to say a certain thing just because that's what we need, and so again, we move more and more into need. We move more and more into this nagging. We move more and more into demanding and even ultimatums. And disconnection that happens because of all of this, because these things that we do not meet our partner where they're at, and they don't touch into their heart. They cause the walls to go up, so we create disconnection. And the more disconnection we feel, the less sexually intimate that we want to be with our partner. And then the more that both of those things are not present, we move into apathy, not caring anymore, fine, giving up, or we numb ourselves. And all of this is not where we intend our relationships to go. So as women, it is so imperative and important that we start to step into the power that we have to take dominion in our relationships, to allow our relationship to thrive for good, for using it to even create the longevity in our relationship and the commitment and all of those things which we crave in our relationships is in our dominion. Okay, so thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week on Thursday at 12 p.m. And this is Thriving Relationships with Jessica Hartley. See you then.